Okay. So, came across something pretty interesting today. Thought I would talk about it for a little bit. And it's the story of George Carroll. Now, this is kind of fascinating. The house was kind of hoarded up, right? But the guy disappeared in the 1960s. Okay, so this is went on. His children were told that he just went out for a pack of cigarettes and never came back. That's the story they were told. Okay, well, people used to do things like that, right? Okay, it seemed okay. Except, but they always knew that his wallet was at the house, and his car was still there. So they don't know how he left. And anyway, but the weirdest thing about this whole story is like the cops never came, and nobody ever looked for him. They just assumed he just left. Okay, now today that probably wouldn't happen, but in 1960 this did happen, which is very strange, right? So it's the story of George Carroll. And I found it kind of interesting because of this story is so damn strange. So he disappeared. He was a Korean War vet. His name was George Carroll, and he vanished in 1963. He was telling his wife and kids that he was just going to go and get these cigarettes, right? In 2018, his son Michael, who owned the house, was cleaning out this basement and found his father's remains under the concrete floor, proving he never left that house. But there's a weird twist to this story. In the documentary, the story features The Secrets We Bury, a documentary on investigation Discovery ID and HBO Max. The truth evidence suggested that George Carroll was murdered, likely by his wife's new handyman and partner, who she later married. But what's weird about this story is he brought this man home who had just gotten out of jail to help him do some repairs to the house. And the man that was doing the repairs to the house is the person that actually took his life, and then him and the wife buried the man under the new part of the house where they were doing the construction. They actually built a vault in the basement underground and put him in there. And so they had when the story started coming out about that, that this may be what happened to him, that what things just started to not make any sense at all, right? So this new documentary was just digging up more details of this New York man, and it was 55 years after his wife told their children that he just abandoned them. He didn't abandon them. So The Secrets We Bury, it's just a very, I suggest you go and watch it. I was really, really intrigued, and I had to sit and watch the whole thing. His wife's name was Dorothy, and they had 4 children. These children were under the age of 10. The mother had never worked, so she was a stay-at-home mom, and so she didn't know how she was going to. She was like, what am I going to do? Well, this guy was already there, and he was. What the children did not know is that the mother had something to do with this man. They had no idea. They thought the man was just moving in there to help the mom because she had no income. That's what they thought, right? But that's really not what happened at all. So the kids were told that, he went to get the cigarettes. Anyway, our father was in the ground for 55 years while we just thought he abandoned us. George's eldest son, Stephen Carroll, had told People magazine, but somebody murdered him. According to the CBS News, Suffolk County Police said the remains were found 4 to 5 feet underneath this basement concrete floor. They were later identified as George Carroll, a New York native who served in the U.S. Army during the Korean War and once drove Marilyn Monroe on a USO tour. So I thought that was kind of really interesting, Dorothy, who died about 20 years before George's remains were discovered, never filed a missing persons report, never said a word to anybody, okay? So people reported that she refused to answer her kids' questions about their missing father, leading to, just rumors that he met a woman in Korea and he started a new life with her. So shortly after this disappearance, Dorothy married the family's live-in handyman. This is the guy that the man brought home with him, who had just gotten out of jail for something minor, but he was like, okay, well, just come home with us and you can help us, do the repairs we're going to do on this house. So Dorothy marries this man. His name was Richard Darris, whom George had hired to help him with constructions. They had a son together, but later divorced. The boys claimed that their stepfather was physically abusive, and both girls said that he had sexually assaulted them. Police have not determined who killed George, but his children believe it was Darris. Darris and his son Rich told People magazine that if their mother had any role in the murder, she definitely had a reason. What? I don't care what's happening. You don't have an excuse to kill anybody. Okay, you don't. That's what's wrong. So in 2019, The siblings laid their father to rest with the military honors in the National Cemetery in Long Island. The Secrets We Buried, which includes the interviews with the Carroll family and the archival footage, will premiere Tuesday, December the 16th. And we did watch it today, and it was a great movie, and I suggest everybody go and watch it. So I'm going to show part of it over here. Hang on a second. I got to share my screen. I mean, it's kind of an interesting story. I thought it was pretty good myself. So here you go. The story of George Carroll. So it's right here. Who do I need to give full credit to? This is from Full Credit to the Dark Side. So here we go. Put this up here. All right. Stop. Okay. Put this over here. Over here. All right. Now we're going to say full credit to the dark side. I want you to just kind of pay attention to this. Let's put our little filter over there so we don't get in trouble for, copyrights and all that stuff. So here we go. All right. Here we go. Let me get this playing. It's a very interesting story. Here we go. All right. Full credit to the dark side. In the movie, you're going to end the show that they did. You will see that one of them went and saw a psychic, and the psychic told them exactly what happened, but nobody believed him. But sure enough, exactly what the psychic told him is exactly what happened. But here we go. Pictures. Look at that. That's a very interesting story. Let me see if the other one's on here because
decades after his.
Oh, wait a minute! Go back! Nope. I think this is another one about this show. We're at right here. It's right here. This is the story about this as well. But this is going to be full credit to Amazing Facts. Here we go. All right.
Decades after his father disappeared, a man made a terrifying discovery in his basement.
It's sad and terrible.
For over 60 years, the Carroll family has dealt with an unsolved mystery that has haunted them every single day of their lives. One of loss, heartache, and possible tragedy. It would be the year 1961 when George Carroll, loving father and husband, would vanish without a trace. For decades, his family wondered what could have possibly happened to him. His 4 children, hoping and wishing he would one day walk back through the door like it was all a horrible nightmare. It would be 60 years later that his youngest son, Mike, would make a shocking discovery in the basement of his old family home. One that would finally solve the mystery of his father's disappearance. George Carroll was born in 1934, and from a young age always knew he wanted to join the military. Not the best student in his family, and with a desire to fight for his country, he enlisted after graduating from high school. Of course, he never could have imagined that he would wind up fighting in the Korean War from 1950 to 1953. Thankfully, he made it through the war unscathed. Once his time in the Army was complete, George settled down in the community of Lake Grove in Long Island, New York. He lived in a cute little home on Olive Street, enjoying a quiet life and starting a family of his own. Life was good and picturesque. At this time, George had a wife named Dorothy and 4 children, Patricia, Jean, Stephen, and the youngest, Mike. In 1961, the children were all still pretty young, between the ages of 9 and 1 year old. and unfortunately, their lives were all about to be impacted in a way they never expected. It would be the fall of 1961 when the Carroll household would be completely turned upside down. One day, George simply vanished from the family home and never returned. The children were devastated and left wondering why their father would have left them. George's disappearance rocked the close-knit family and the community. So many questions were left unanswered. Why would reported any accidents in the area, and the hospitals didn't report any unidentified men being brought in? What truly happened to George? After the disappearance, the children remember their mother telling them that George had left the house to buy cigarettes and never came back. However, it seemed George had left his wallet in the house, which made the story suspect. Why would he go to buy cigarettes and leave his wallet? According to George's son Steve, who was only 8 at the time, he never...
Can you imagine? Your mother tells you, oh no, Dad went to get cigarettes and he never came back, but you knew his wallet was there and his car was there. You know, he never left at all. As a child, I mean, yeah, when you're 7 or 8 years old, you're not going to think about that. But as you get older and you start thinking about that, you go, wait a minute, Mom, wait a minute. We never saw him leave. Where were we when he was walking out the door to go get these cigarettes? I mean, you start thinking something is extremely wrong with his story. But, you know, children never want to blame their mother for the disappearance of their father. I mean, you know, especially not way back then. But anyway, here we go. We'll keep watching. It's a crazy story.
Really bought his mother's story. He always thought it was weird how quickly Dorothy brushed off his disappearance, nor seemed too concerned. Plus, his dad leaving his wallet behind wasn't like him at all. Despite the children questioning their mother's story, according to youngest son Mike, she always dodged any questions about their father. In an interview with the New York Post, he revealed that she would always tell the children to stop asking, so eventually they kept their mouths shut.
Wow.
With so much mystery surrounding George's disappearance, rumors began to swirl around the family. Some relatives believed that George had decided to flee to Korea, where he had fought in the war. It was rumored he may have had a long-distance Korean lover he chose over his family. However, there was also a darker theory. Some people in hushed conversations discussed the possibility that George was dead and buried underneath the house. Around the time of his disappearance, the family was building a basement addition to the property.
So think about that. For years, I guess it was talked about that the dad was under the basement, but nobody took it serious. Nobody even looked. They just took the mom's word for it. It's really disgusting, actually. They were living in this house, and he's in the basement, under the basement floor.
Property, the perfect place to hide a body. Deepening the mystery of George's disappearance was the alleged information that Dorothy never filed a missing persons report. Therefore, the entire incident was swept under the rug and never hit the radar of local police. Why would his wife not report his disappearance? Could she have been involved in some way? Even though it was hard to do, the children tried to get on with their lives. However, their father's memory was like a dark shadow looming over every day. There were just too many unanswered questions to simply forget their father and move on. Shortly after George's disappearance, Dorothy moved a new man into the house named Richard Darris. The two had a whirlwind romance and married quickly, much to the shock of the children. However, the marriage was not a match made in heaven and would eventually fall completely apart. While the children were hoping to regain some stability in their lives, their mother's rocky marriage ensured that wouldn't happen. After 2 decades of fights and abuse, Dorothy divorced her second husband in 1983. According to Mike, his mother believed that Richard had been having an affair, which is why she kicked him out. After the divorce, Dorothy moved to New Mexico to start over. During this time, the children, now grown, went their separate ways as well. However, Richard would not let Dorothy get away so easily. In 2000, she was forced to take out a restraining order against him. It seemed Dorothy had no luck with men. As the Carroll children grew older, they began to question their mother's story. Although she swore that their father simply left for cigarettes and never returned, something never felt right about her explanation. And the fact she didn't want the children asking questions also seemed suspect. There really wasn't much to talk about, one of her sons told ABC.
It's really kind of sad because every time they would ask, she would just shush them away like it wasn't important, like their father really wasn't important. Just, she knew what happened. That she knew he was under that house. Now, I don't know which one killed him, but they both knew. That's what I'm going to tell you. And isn't that really amazing how, they're both gone and nobody is held responsible now. Nobody.
But we became curious as adults as to where he might be. After his mother's death in 1998, the youngest son, Mike, bought his family home on Olive Street. After living there for over 20 years, he began to wonder if the rumors were true. Could his father really be buried beneath the house? It was a chilling thought, to say the least. According to Mike, the rumors swirling around his father's disappearance had always been in the back of his mind. It didn't just come up overnight. It's something that had been talked about for years, he told the local media. This is something as we grew up, we heard multiple stories. Tired of wondering, Mike finally decided he would search for answers himself and began to excavate the basement. Unfortunately, he was forced to abandon the project because he realized he was digging in the wrong place. I got to the point where it became dangerous because I was afraid my house was going to cave in. So I stopped digging, Mike told News 12. Despite the setback, Mike had no plans to give up his quest for the truth. There was no way that he could continue on with his life without knowing what happened to his father. Somehow, he would get to the bottom of the situation. Mike and his family began to dig in other areas of the basement, working hard to remove the heavy layers of concrete. The family hired building contractors to ensure they were doing things safely as well. One expert that Mike hired knew how to work a radar that would penetrate the ground using electromagnetic radiation. This would create a scan of the subsurface structures. During this scan, the radar picked up a mysterious mass about 6 feet down. At the encouragement of his sisters, Mike turned to a psychic for answers. The family hoped they might get a sign from the supernatural that could confirm their father had been murdered or that his spirit was still lingering in the home. The psychic revealed they had a gut feeling that something horrible had happened, although they did not communicate directly with George. According to Mike, he had been seeing spirits in his childhood home from a very young age. Even his friend who had been visiting had an encounter with a spirit in the home. My friend came from Georgia, he said. Mike, I came out of your bathroom and I saw a guy standing there like, a shadow of a man, standing and walking down the stairs. Mike decided to continue to reach out to paranormal experts in an attempt to help locate his father's body. One psychic arrived at the basement and pointed to a spot in the floor, revealing they felt a significant swell of energy. Sadly, Mike suffered a stroke during this time, and his sons had to continue the investigation. I told my kids, guys, come on over here and help me out. You've been watching me do this. You get in there, Mike explained. I think they felt bad for me because they knew this was important to me. After months of searching and digging, Mike's two sons decided to excavate the area the psychic had pointed out. It was there they found what looked like human remains. Mike immediately notified the police, who arrived the next day to examine the bones. The remains would have to be sent out for DNA testing to confirm whether or not they belonged to George Carroll. Weeks later, the Suffolk County Police were able to confirm the skeleton did belong to George. The DNA was extremely well preserved within the skeletal remains, even after almost 60 years. Finally, after decades of uncertainty, the mystery had been solved. Despite having to tear up his basement, Mike is happy to finally know what happened to his father, even though the details surrounding his death are still shrouded in mystery. I took a chance. I could have done this whole thing and found nothing, and then I would have had a whole messed up basement.
I just thought it was a pretty interesting little story. In fact, when you go watch the movie about it, which is much longer than this, it even talks about how this man's mother lived right down the street from them. So this was their grandmother, that they never knew that that was her. She just lived down the road from them. But she had no interaction with them. And I think it's because she knew that that woman and that man did something to her child. She couldn't prove anything, but she knew something wasn't right. And so it's just a weird story, and I suggest everybody go watch it. It's the George Carroll story, and I believe it's on Netflix or HBO or one of them. Here's another thing, though, I'm going to talk about over here because it's an interesting story, and I did not realize when I first heard about this exactly. Hang on a minute, let me get up here. Let's see. And a lot of people are talking about this right now, and it is the Nick Reiner and Rob Reiner story. It's just really horrible. But you know, I got to reading something about how he was kicked out of this party and the reason why he was kicked out of this party. So hang on a second. Let me pull something up here. This is from 9 hours ago, and this is going to be Entertainment Tonight. Full credit to Entertainment Tonight. So there's this.
You're going to have to bail me out of jail.
Okay, now listen. So we're going to talk about Rob Reiner for a second. Now, this is the story coming out of Entertainment, and it is what Rob Reiner's son said to Bill Hader to get him thrown out of Conan O'Brien's party. Now, you know that had to be super embarrassing for Rob. Nick Reiner, 32, was asked to leave Conan O'Brien's holiday. Rob and Michelle Reiner were found dead in their home. The couple's youngest son attended the comedian's party on Saturday, December the 13th, with Rob, who was 78, and Michelle, who was 68. He was brought to the party so that the parents could keep an eye on him, sources told the Rolling Stone. While there, however, Nick interrupted comedian Bill Hader with a series of unsettling questions, according to the Wall Street Journal. Nick allegedly asked Hader and several other guests the same set of questions. What's your name? What's your last name? And are you famous? Rob and his son got into a heated argument during the party, with one guest alleging that Rob told his son that his behavior was inappropriate. Another guest told the New York Times that Nick seemed anxious and uncomfortable throughout the night, in a way that deeply unsettled them. A guest similarly revealed to People magazine Nick was freaking everyone out, acting crazy, kept asking people if they were famous. Nick was eventually asked to leave, and the bodies of Rob and Michelle were found less than 24 hours after this A-list party. Their son is now facing 2 charges of first-degree murder. The charges include a special allegation that Reiner used a dangerous weapon, that being a knife, as explained by the Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman on Tuesday. Friends of the Reiner family have recounted Nick's decade-long battle with substance abuse. Since he was a teen, Nick has struggled with drug addiction, bouncing between homelessness and rehab several times. Nick was always troubled, even in his early teens. Alan Horn, which is Rob's co-founder of production house Castle Rock Entertainment, told WSJ that Rob and Michelle kept all of this very private, but they did share with us and others that they struggled with Nick's addiction issues, tried everything, and were really at a loss at what to do and how to help him. Then it goes, so Nick and Rob collaborated on the 2015 film Being Charlie, which Nick wrote and his father directed. The film detailed Nick's own experiences with addiction and his stints in rehab. The father and son duo gave a candid press tour to promote the movie, with Rob saying it was cathartic and therapeutic to make the film. Rob told NPR in 2016 that his son was the heart and soul of the film and that described Nick as brilliant and talented. Isn't that a shame? He's so brilliant and talented, but couldn't keep it together long enough to make another movie. That's very sad. In the same interview, Nick was asked if he would work with his father again. Oh, yeah. But I think for now, it's best for me to just, to be sort of independent. But that's not to say I didn't have an amazing experience. Nick reportedly felt that an immense pressure to live up to his father's legacy. Speaking with NPR again in September, Rob said Nick was in a really good place and that he hadn't been doing drugs for over 6 years. Isn't that a shame? Cinematographer Barry Markowitz, who recently stayed with the Reiners, said Nick seemed to be on the upswing. When he last saw him, he looked great. He was sitting and talking with the family. And then Markowitz says they ate dinner together, old school style, and a lot of love, always a lot of love. On the other hand, others have said that Rob and Michelle were at their wits' end with their son lately. It's a very sad situation of what happened, but we'll go ahead and watch a little bit of entertainment tonight. Here we go. Full courtesy to Entertainment Tonight. Here we go.
She has a boyfriend
Very
now
sad.
who's in the military. He's actually dead.
Oh.
She's dying all right. I'm gonna go tell that.
Disturbing comments from Nick Reiner in 2016, nearly a decade before being charged with the murders of his parents, Rob and Michelle.
I got like major personality disorder.
Nick, who was arrested Sunday, is accused of using a knife to kill his parents at their LA home. That video, posted to his YouTube account in 2016, now resurfacing in the days following Rob and Michelle's deaths. There's no cohesive plot to the mockumentary, seemingly a riff on the style of his dad's masterpiece, This Is Spinal Tap.
Let's talk a little bit about the history of the group.
I was in a group called the Creatures, which was a skiffle group.
We're wondering
How long this interview is gonna be?
Just a series of disturbing comments from the 32-year-old playing a character named David.
I ain't gotta tell you my first and last name. Most people know me as Did David.
Nick, who's battled drug addiction and mental illness most of his life, films himself smoking and shows off what appears to be illegal substances throughout the video.
You bought heroin off a transvestite?
His younger sister, Romy, who discovered their parents' bodies after the murders,
That's sad for
makes
her.
a cameo, puffing on what appears to be a cigarette.
Introduction. Jenny from the cul-de-sac.
Nick makes a chilling threat against an animal,
I'm gonna go tell that.
Oh, that's terrible. Trigger
and
warning, trigger
seemingly
warning.
predicted his own fate behind bars, where he currently sits without bail.
And you know what? You're gonna have to bail me out of jail.
It's terrible. Terrible, terrible. He's got a lot of problems. I mean, I guess he was talented, but he just couldn't hold it together to keep going, I guess. It's so sad. I like Dr. Todd Grande. Let's listen to him for a second.
This is Dr. Grande. Today I will offer an update on the case of Rob Reiner. I will start with a brief background of this case, move to an updated timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Rob Reiner was a famous actor and director. He first became popular playing the character Michael Stivic on the 1970s sitcom All in the Family. He then went on to direct several successful movies in the 1980s and 90s. For example, This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men, The American President, and Ghosts of Mississippi. Rob was married to a photographer named Michelle. They had 3 children, Jake, Nick, and Romy. Their son Nick, who was born in 1993, had mental health and substance use difficulties. He had periods of homelessness and was estranged from Rob and Michelle, but eventually reconciled with them. By 2025, Rob, Michelle, and Nick lived together in a $13.5 million mansion located at 255 South Chadbourne Avenue in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. Rob's daughter, Romy, lived in a house across the street. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On Saturday, December 13, 2025, 78-year-old Rob Reiner, his 70-year-old wife, Michelle, and his 32-year-old son, Nick, attended a Christmas party hosted by the well-known talk show host and comedian, Conan O'Brien. Nick was not actually invited to the Christmas party, but Rob and Michelle asked if they could bring him. They were concerned about his recent behavior and did not want to leave him home unsupervised. The behavior in question was described as extreme and stressful. According to witnesses at the party, here's what happened next. Nick was acting in a bizarre fashion and making people uncomfortable. He was staring at people, freaking everyone out, and acting crazy. He appeared to be uncomfortable and anxious in a way that was deeply unsettling. Nick walked up to various people and asked them if they were famous. At one point, he approached the comedian Bill Hader and interrupted a conversation Bill was having with someone else. Nick said things like, "What's your name? What's your last name? Are you famous?" Bill told Nick that the conversation was private. Nick stood there glaring at Bill for a long time before storming off. Rob Reiner was embarrassed by Nick's behavior and confronted him. He admonished his son, saying his behavior was inappropriate for a guest in someone else's house. The argument between them was very loud, and shouting was involved. Rob and Michelle apologized to Conan O'Brien and left the party. It is not clear when Nick left, but it appears as though he made his way back to the family mansion not long after this. At 11:16 p.m., Nick was captured on video walking past a gas station a half mile from his parents' home. He was wearing a baseball cap and carrying a backpack. His direction of travel was taking him away from the Reiner family house. At around 4:15 a.m., now on Sunday, December 14, 2020.
You gotta wonder, did he go back to the house, get his backpack or whatever, and then go find him some drugs because he was upset that he was kicked out of the party, and he was upset that his parents were upset because he embarrassed them and got kicked out of the party. It just seems like any little thing would set a person like this off, and I can see that causing him to go find drugs and just go ahead and start again. Here you go.
5. Nick checked into room 207 at the Pierside Santa Monica Hotel. This is 3 miles south of his parents' house. Hotel staff described him as looking tweaked out, but didn't really see anything else about him that was alarming. That same day, Sunday, Nick's father, Rob Reiner, had a massage appointment scheduled at his house. The massage therapist arrived at 2 p.m., rang the doorbell and knocked several times, then left after no one answered.
Oh, wow.
Rob's 27-year-old daughter, Romy, walked over to Rob's mansion. Again, she lived right across the street. She entered the master bedroom searching for her parents and found her father, Rob Reiner, dead. Romy ran out of the house screaming, which led her roommate to call 911 at 3:38 p.m.
Hard to find.
When the police arrived, they discovered that both Rob and Michelle were in bed in the master bedroom. They had been stabbed multiple times and their throats had been cut. There was no forced entry into their home. The obvious suspect in this case was Nick Reiner, probably because he had a history of disruptive behavior and had argued with his father the night before at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party. The police tracked Nick to the Pierside Santa Monica Hotel, but he was already gone. The shower in the hotel room he had used was full of blood, and there was blood on the bed. At 8:20 p.m., Nick was captured on video entering an Arco gas station near Exposition Park in South Los Angeles. This is 15 miles east of the Pierside Santa Monica Hotel. He was carrying a red backpack over his shoulder and could be seen buying a sports drink. After leaving the store, he looked around, then re-entered. At 9:50 p.m., Nick was arrested in Exposition Park. At 5:04 a.m., now on Monday, December 15, he was booked on suspicion of murder. On December 16, 2025, Nick Reiner was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with a special circumstance of multiple murders and a special allegation that he personally used a dangerous and deadly weapon, specifically a knife. He could face life in prison without the possibility.
You know what I think is going to happen to him? I think he's going to end up in a mental institution because he already had a lot of problems to begin with, and many people are going to talk about at the party he did not seem right. So I don't think he'll end up in prison. Here we go. We'll keep listening.
Possibility of parole or the death penalty. There is currently a moratorium on the death penalty in California. This has been in place since 2019. The death penalty has not been repealed, however. If Nick was sentenced to death, the sentence would stand as legally correct, but he would not be executed. He made a brief appearance in court on December 17, 2025, but no plea was entered. His next scheduled hearing, which will be his arraignment, is set for January 7, 2026. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. As I mentioned, Nick Reiner has a history of mental health difficulties. He first started using substances at the age of 14. When he was 15 years old, he went to rehab for the first time. Throughout his career as a substance user, he would end up in rehab 17 more times. It's not clear exactly what drugs he used, but he did specifically mention heroin and cocaine. Nick's parents, Rob and Michelle, had pushed him into rehab all those times. Rob later said that he regretted doing this and came to believe that mental health experts were offering bad advice. Nick went through periods of homelessness. However, he eventually earned his GED and returned to California. In 2016, Rob and his father produced a film titled Being Charlie, which was loosely based on their experiences, including Nick's substance use and Rob's reaction to it. Nick said that he became closer with his father by making the film and was lucky to have parents who care for him. Item number 2, Nick gave several interviews where he talked about his substance use and his behavior in general. Some of his statements could give insight into his troubling way of thinking.
Oops. All right. I'm going to look at this. I want to stop and look at this. Talk about this. This movie that they made, Being Charlie. We're going to watch the trailer, and then I'm going to go back and listen to Todd Grande again. So here we go. This is going to be full credit to Rotten Tomatoes. Here's the trailer.
If they say you only have a year to live, do it
Being
sober.
Charlie.
It'll seem like an eternity.
Charlie, why don't you tell us what you want to thank God for? 6 months of sobriety? Anything you want to say?
Do I smell like weed? No. I smell like weed.
You look like you came from a funeral.
Why don't we use your bathroom?
Hey, go ahead. Let me see those. My mother's oxys.
Dad, I'm not going to listen to you tell me what a drug addict I am. Be careful, I'm one of your constituents now. You wouldn't want to lose the governor's race by 1 vote.
You can either head back to treatment or live on the streets. It's your choice.
Charlie, you think your dad's going to know about any of this when he's elected? No, he's going to be in Sacramento doing his governor's.
Oh, what, you taking their side?
Right. Go shoot up, prove everyone right. Just stick it out for 30 days.
Being an outpatient comes with more freedom, but more responsibility.
They're still grouped, though, right?
Every day.
You think he'll stay?
He has no choice.
Hey, you making a break for it?
Friendship during sobriety, not a problem. Romance, however, tends to get in the way.
You can look, but you can't touch.
When you enter rehab, you get strip searched. And if I had known that that would be the last time that anybody would touch me, I would have tried to enjoy it more.
All right, you're done.
You were funny, man. You got something.
It's not for everybody.
It's for you.
You know, it would be so great right now. Drink.
If you continue to refuse to accept the disease that put you here, you will continue to be a repeat offender.
Don't you mean a repeat customer?
I love him. I don't love him. No.
You've had plenty of choices, Charlie. Rehab or jail. You know, quite a wide selection there.
One of us had to keep him safe.
For him or for you?
I can't stay here anymore, okay? This place is like a prison.
It's not even close. But don't worry. If you're not dead, you'll probably end up there anyway.
Don't follow me down. Don't follow me down.
It was never about the drugs. All I ever wanted was a way to kill the noise.
Getting sober is a selfish thing. You gotta help yourself first.
I know what you're thinking. Who is this kid with the silver spoon in his mouth, and why does he keep cooking heroin in it? Total waste of a good utensil.
Wow, that's pretty. It looks pretty good, actually, huh? All right, we're going back to Todd Grande now. I just wanted to take a look at that trailer really quick and talk about that for a second. So let's go back to where we were. Todd Grande. All right. On Nick Grant. Nick. There we go. All right, we're going to go back to Todd Grande now. Listen to him finish talking about this. So, this is back to full credit to Dr. Todd Grande. Here we go.
Way of thinking. Here are just a few examples. Nick talked about being awake for days on cocaine in his parents' guest house. He punched various objects, including a television and a lamp. Nick said that everything in the guest house got wrecked. At another time, he claimed that he had a heart attack on an airplane due to cocaine use and woke up in a hospital. Nick said that he once threw a rock through a window at a treatment center to convince staff that he needed medication. He said, quote, "I was so lost. I didn't know anything about myself or the world, and that's all I knew as a coping mechanism," unquote. This is a common tactic among substance users. They excuse violent or other bad behavior, referring to it as a coping mechanism. Nothing is their fault. The substances are to blame for everything. The same sentiment was captured again when Nick said, quote, "I am a spoiled white rich kid from a Hollywood family. But I think it's even more of a testament to how powerful drugs can be that you don't care about any of that stuff, unquote. Here we see this idea that the substances are in charge. They are running the show. Their power is irresistible, and it's completely understandable that someone would throw their life away for the drugs. Nick was trying to excuse his poor decision-making and play the victim at the same time. On one occasion, when Nick was talking about his parents and how they forced him into treatment, he said, quote, "I used to harbor a lot of ill will toward them, but it's diminished to almost zero," unquote. Considering how Nick is accused of murdering his parents, I am guessing the level of ill will increased substantially above zero. Item number 3.
You got to wonder to yourself, how was he able to kill both of them single-handedly by himself? How was he able to do that? Wouldn't you think that if somebody was injuring you and you were asleep, you would wake up fighting, and wouldn't the person in the bed next to you be fighting as well? I mean, there's some weird things about this. Were they in such a sleep from alcohol? I mean, we don't know, and we're not gonna know until they release some more information. But you know, this 17 times to rehab. But the thing about rehab is, and we all know this, until you're ready to go do the work yourself, you cannot be forced to do it. It's not going to work. You have to be the one to make the decision. You can't have people forcing you into it. So let's go back and listen to Todd Grande.
As I mentioned in my first video about this case, I believe that Rob Reiner selected an unwise path when he rejected the advice of mental health experts. Rob came to believe that Nick held all the answers to defeat his own addiction. I think what happened here is that Nick manipulated Rob. He convinced him that traditional treatment options would not work because his situation was special. Nick wasn't addicted because he decided to use substances. Rather, he was addicted because substances are unstoppable. It appears as though Nick convinced Rob that being born into a famous family was actually a massive disadvantage. During one interview, Rob said, quote, "People are talking, and he has the double whammy. He's got me, and he's got his grandfather. And they're going to say whatever the heck they want, but they don't know. They don't know what he's experienced. They don't know what he's gone through. They don't know why he's done what he does," unquote. Nick managed to find a way to play the victim based on being wealthy and famous, and his father bought right into it. Despite Rob's failure to make ideal decisions, it seemed clear that he wanted the best outcome for his son. Rob's intentions were always good in this regard. He desperately wanted to believe that Nick's substance use was behind him and that his son's redemption would be dramatic and glorious. Item number 4. Nick's lawyer, Alan Jackson, is one of the highest paid criminal defense attorneys in the United States, reportedly making over $2,000 an hour. There is no question that Alan is going to mount a vigorous defense. It wouldn't surprise me if he also mounted a defense that took a long time. He told the media that there were various complex and serious issues associated with the case. This has led some people to believe that Nick will be pursuing an insanity defense.
Oh, yeah.
This defense strategy is not used very often, and when it is used, it's rarely successful. In addition, it is particularly ill-suited for Nick's situation. If he was using substances at the time of the murders, then any mental health symptoms will be attributed to that, and he will not be found legally insane. Despite Nick's affinity for blaming substances for everything wrong in his life, an offender cannot escape justice by pointing the finger at drugs. Now moving to my final item, number 5. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Nick Reiner had severe behavioral problems. One family friend said that Nick's struggles manifested before he started using drugs. Once the substances were introduced, his problems magnified to horrific levels. The friend also said that Nick had violent outbursts and was super aggressive. When the report of the murders first came out, many people thought that if Nick was guilty, he must have killed his parents in the heat of the moment. Nick was upset and embarrassed about being reprimanded at the Christmas party. He argued with Rob in the mansion, then killed both his parents in a rage. This was, of course, before the public knew that Rob and Michelle were murdered in bed. It sounds like they may have been sleeping when Nick allegedly stabbed them to death. This was not a decision made during a heated confrontation. Rather, the murders were premeditated. Nick allegedly decided he was going to get revenge. He was going to take out his parents.
To take a knife to sleeping people is very cowardly, don't you think? But you know what? I think in his case he will have a very strong insanity plea. I think he will, and I think he might actually get away with it, and because of his attorney. But another thing about this guy is, he's openly. I believe that he's going to be a psychopath. I bet you he's gonna be labeled as a psychopath. Let's make a bet. How many people think he's gonna be a psychopath? Just make a comment if you think so, because I think he's gonna be.
Killing his two biggest advocates,
Damn.
two people who always stood up for him, who always tried to help him, who gave him a place to live after he betrayed their trust, who believed in him, despite him repeatedly demonstrating how that was a bad idea, who rejected expert advice believing that Nick had all the answers, and who cared for him so much, they brought him to a Christmas party in order to keep him out of trouble. If Nick is guilty, he didn't just kill his parents, he killed his only chance at redemption. He had tried to throw his life away for many years, but Rob and Michelle stopped him. Nick finally found a way to complete his objective. Those are my thoughts on the case of Rob Reiner. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Todd Grande. All right. That is Dr. Todd Grande discussing the Nick Reiner case. I mean, that is just tragic to go and they're sound asleep and they're in there, I think he sliced their throats, which is just horrible. Just horrible. It's just so bad. It's very, very bad. Let's talk about somebody else for a second. Let's go ahead and talk about our other favorite person that we like to talk about a little bit.
This is Dr. Grande.
That's going to be the newly released videos. Good God, let's watch a little Go to John. Telling you something, after seeing what I saw from Nick Go to John, he needs to stay right where he is at. He is very dangerous. They are dangerous together. And it's just so sickening to watch Ken say, oh no, it's okay. He just laughs about it, right? He just laughs about it. Like it's no big deal, It's okay. Yeah. He just oh, Lord have mercy, it's terrible. Okay, so we're going to go back and find the latest one. Now, this is going to be from In the Weeds, and this is going to be the first part of the jail call. There's multiple jail calls from him, which I didn't realize that earlier, that they had. I think there's 10 of these jail calls. Yeah, or 10 little sections on Nick Go to John. So I think we were watching number 2. Let's see, number 2. Let me go back over here. Actually, we're just going to go to Into the Weeds, and we'll pull it from there, because that's where all of these are. And I really do appreciate them pulling these, getting these FOIAs for us, and so we could actually hear the truth, hear what's really going on with these people. Here we go. This is number 7. Let's go back over here. We'll look at number 7. There's so many of them. It's like I think there's 10 of them. Hang on a minute. Let's see. Now, Becca Scoops, hers was really good when she was talking about it. So look at all of these people. I mean, there's a lot of people talking about these because they're just so bad. There's part 1. Okay. There's 1 through 3 of Gypsy. Let's see if we can find part 2. Okay, it's up here. We'll just go back up to the ones in part 2. Here we go. So let's listen to this for a little bit. I can't stay on very long, but I do want to hear some more of this. We'll go ahead and start with this one, number 7.
This is a call from.
Listen to this.
An inmate at Greene County Jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. The inmate has requested that you pay for this call. If you don't wish to talk, hang up now.
We'll do this one, and then I'm going to have to call it a day.
Thank you for using Telmate.
Make sure you can hear it.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay.
Hi. Oh, I thought maybe you'd missed our call. I was on video chat, but it said that it didn't get answered.
Oh, can you hear that? All right.
Yeah, I switched between 2 different tablets, and the second one was starting to work, but the
so we can put some
it all of a sudden kicked me off.
It's hard to understand when he's talking.
Yeah, it said it was processing a visit. I'm thinking, okay. then all of a sudden.
Yeah, he did that to me.
Yeah.
And it just cut out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who this lady
How are you
is
doing?
talking to.
I'm doing alright.
Good, good. Well, I'm sorry you didn't get to video chat, but we can reschedule it.
Yes, I do. I think she was making
what was
a.
I going to say? I wanted to see if you'd spoken to your dad.
She's
Spoken
making
to your dad recently.
Yes, I have.
When did you talk? I've been trying to get in touch with him, and I haven't been able to get through to him. I wondered if he mentioned anything to do with us.
Well, I've been having other parts of the media. I mean, I have an independent writer / producer interested in my story too now.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
From ABC?
I don't know if it's ABC. I do know that it's independent. I'm not sure exactly who they are though.
Oh, okay. And so what's going on with that? So has your dad been talking to them?
Yeah, he's just trying to find out what's going on, what they want, and everything else.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And so have you spoken to them?
Not yet.
Okay. I wonder who it is. I mean, I know that there's a company with ABC. They are. It's called ABC 2020. I know they've been trying to talk to people. I know that Gypsy's giving another interview with them.
Ooh, I can't stand
I didn't know if they were going to contact you or not.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, it sounded like they were getting involved with the Bunchers also, so. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And you think your dad has spoken to them?
Yes, I'm aware that apparently they're interested in making a TV series, apparently what he found out so far.
Oh.
Oh, is it maybe the drama TV series?
Yep.
Do you know?
Yep.
Right, okay. Okay, well, that doesn't impact anything with us. Is that maybe why he's been ignoring me?
I don't think he's been ignoring you.
Oh, okay. It's just I know I sent lots of messages to him on Facebook and they said they'd been read, but he and I've been calling him and stuff, but I haven't been able to get through to him. So I just wanted to see if he was okay still.
Yeah. I mean, I'm most likely gonna.
You know, the thing about Nick is this: he only talked to this one set of people. And then he stopped giving interviews because he felt like his words were twisted, he was not heard, and he didn't want to put himself in that position again. So here we go. We'll keep listening. Thank you again to Into the Weeds.
Probably help your company and probably gonna help out the other one. I'm probably gonna help out both because get my name out there even more.
Yeah. Well, of course. As long as you're still happy to be in our documentary, then of course, we can't stop you doing anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
So I sent you a letter today, just with that form in that that I tried to see you tried to see that you could get from the officers. I sent you an example of it, so maybe you could show it to them.
That would be yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be nice if
okay, cool.
Yeah, because I still haven't had a chance yet to get others to understand what I mean. Other than what you've been talking about, but other than that. But yeah, that'd be helpful if I did have that, just so I could show them.
Yeah, I have tried. So if you keep asking, I'll keep asking here as well. I'm trying to figure out how we get it to you. But yeah, I posted you an example, but I think that you need to get actually given a proper one. I don't know if that example is going to be enough, but we'll see what happens. Maybe you can show them. So that should be with you in a couple of days. And also, I think I might be coming to Missouri next week.
Okay.
So I might actually be around, so we might be able to meet.
That'd be good.
So that would be good, and then hopefully while I'm there I should be able to ask people what's going on and maybe things will move a bit quicker, because it's obviously a little bit hard with me being in the UK.
Yeah, because, I mean, you already know, like I told you in the past, you already have my permission to do the whole interview. You just needed the sheriff's permission still. That's all you're really missing.
Yeah. So we're trying to do that. But we need to get your permission, needs to be sort of like, rather than just saying yes, it needs to be kind of like official. So that's what that letter is for that I've sent you. But have a look at it and show that to somebody, and maybe they can help you out. But on the letter it just says you just have to fill in your name and say that you agree for us to talk to you and that you agree for us to film with you, and then the sheriff gives his permission. So have a look at that when you receive it, and we can even, if you're allowed to have it on your person, like we can even talk through it if you need to, if you've got any questions.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Well, that's interesting that there's another company wanting to talk to you. So what do you know so far? Is it just through your dad that you know?
Yeah, so far through my dad. Like you said, they were planning on making a TV drama, and apparently, due to the person's also an independent writer, I don't know. I might talk to them about doing a book, maybe. But
Okay. Oh, right. Amazing.
Yeah, which means I might end up talking to Gypsy before I go through with that, because I'd rather have me and her be part of the co-authors to the book with maybe the other one, maybe. You know.
Okay. And when you can talk to her after your trial, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Talk to you, but
Okay. Well, I wish you all luck with that. I hope that that's a success. I'm sure there'll definitely be people who are interested.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm really glad though that you're still happy to talk to us. You know, we'd be very sad if we couldn't include your voice in this.
Yeah. I was wondering, I just have a question for you though. I was wondering, is it possible for me to get, because you and me talked about royalties the very first day that I had a chance to talk to you. I was wondering, is it possible to put the royalties in my father's name? Because,
we don't, as I explained, and this would be the same for every company. So what we can do is we can, from your dad, or your father, we can pay him for like pictures, like letters, anything like that. We can give him money for, which means we can license them to use them in the program. So we can do that, and when we go and film at his house, we can pay him a location fee to film at his house and things like that. But we can't, and nobody can legally put anything. Basically, because you're in prison, nobody is legally allowed to give you money unless it's obviously for like phone calls and stuff like that, like we've been doing. So if you
Wait a minute. That's not exactly true. There are people who are allowed to sell their stories. Is there a law in Missouri that says that they cannot be receiving, cannot make money? Is the, what's the name of that law? I got to think about it for a second. I don't think she's telling him the truth. Hang on a second. Let's check the facts. Hang on. Okay. We'll go back in here and we're going to check the facts on that because I don't think she's being exactly honest with him. I think they could have been paid. Wasn't Gypsy Rose Blanchard paid? Why can't he be paid? Poor thing. And there again, people using him, lying to him. Okay, let me check the facts here. Could. Royalties. He paid to. Hang on. There we go. Okay, Son of Sam laws. Okay, but here's the deal. How in the world was, I guess because she got a plea bargain, then the Son of Sam laws didn't apply to her. That is such bullshit. However, situation where the Son of Sam law was and the Supreme Court decided to be not. Hang on, I gotta recheck this. The Son of Sam law. Okay. Unless the court says I'm going to put the Son of Sam law in place, I don't think they can do that. So let me check that real quick. And the Supreme Court, hang on a second. So the facts are not being exactly told right. Okay. The Supreme Court struck down the New York Son of Sam law in 1991. Okay, ruling it violated the First Amendment's free speech protection because it was a content-based restriction and overbroad and not narrowly tailored to compensate victims who the states have similar laws, often amended to be more constitutional. The law aimed to stop criminals from profiting from their crimes, like David Berkowitz did, but the court found it applied to broadly any speech mentioning crime, preventing legitimate works from being published while not effectively securing victim funds, right? So what she told him is not exactly the truth. I need to do further investigation to see if he was bound by Son of Sam law. So let's see. We're going to look up Son of Sam laws and Nick Godejohn. Here we go. Okay. We're going to apply to Nick Godejohn. Hang on a second, guys. All right. Son of Sam laws were not formally applied to the criminal case against Nicholas Godejohn because the crime occurred in Missouri, a state that does not have such a statute. So the lady just lied to him. Hear me now, that lady just lied to him. He absolutely could have been paid royalties. I hope he realizes that now. Okay, we'll go back and finish listening. Boy, that's a shame.
Ask us to put money in your dad's name for you. By you saying it's for you automatically means that we aren't able to do that, and nobody will be able to do that. However, we would definitely not expect to have anything for free from your father. So like things like archives, pictures, videos. We can compensate him for time he misses from work and things like that, but we can't just like set up a fund for you under his name, because that would be illegal.
Oh, I was gonna say I was aware of the one for me if it was in my name, but I wasn't fully sure if it was possible under his name, since I know that I can't proffer comment if it's directly under my name, but if it's under his, it's a different story.
Sure, but we can't just like give, as journalists, and so any news organization can't just like give him a lump sum of money. Nobody will be able to do that, even if it's under his name, and even if it's for him.
She lied to him.
You've asked me, by you asking me this, and by this being recorded, it's now like there's evidence now that you've asked us to put something in his name for you, so we wouldn't be able to do that, unfortunately. But like I said, we don't expect we don't expect to get anything for free. If we can license things from him, and if we can film in his house, we can pay to do that. But and something like royalties doesn't really exist in this kind of thing. If you've got a book, it probably would. But that's a whole. I don't know about that because I'm only in television, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I've explained that to your dad, and he seemed all right with it, and he seemed happy about it. But that's. I know it's something you're concerned about.
This kind of makes me interested if Gypsy got the same messages you're giving me.
Well, if she got, yeah. But basically, so her dad
she was convicted. That's the reason I'm asking. Because I'm aware that she was convicted of what she did.
Yeah, but it's not anything to do with whether you've been convicted or not. It's just that any prisoner in prison is not allowed to profit from their crimes. So
it is a shame she lied to him. I hope she knows that he was lied to right there about that. I hope he does know that. Now, do I want him out of prison? Hell no. He's right where he needs to be. Should he be paid just like Gypsy Rose? Hell yes, he should. Anyway, here we go.
I mean, I can't speak for the company, so it was HBO. I can't speak for them, but their lawyers would have said no, they can't pay her. So probably what would have happened is like if there were any pictures of hers or anything like that, they would have probably licensed footage and stuff from her father. But they would have been that it's the same law. It's the same law.
Okay, then I can ask you on that grounds, and I was wondering, after I've been out of prison, would it be different?
Once you get out?
Yes. Would it be different?
Yeah, I guess it would be.
Okay, that's
But I don't know that for a fact. I would have to ask somebody. I only know because of dealing with prisoners before when we've wanted to film and stuff. So I don't know. But there's nothing to say. If you get out of prison and you write a book and stuff, then you would obviously profit from that. But again, I can't give you like proper legal advice about it.
Oh, I know. I'm just asking you because you've already been through this loop with other people many times. It sure sounds that way.
Oh, right.
And that's part of the reason I'm trying to get your professional opinion. That's one reason.
Okay. Yeah. No, so I don't know for sure, but I guess that's a bridge you cross when you get to that point.
Okay. All right, I'm okay with that. I just wanted to make sure. Well, at least we're getting something out of it.
Yeah, I don't. And it's good that you ask questions. I would hate for you to just suddenly decide you didn't want to do it, or didn't want to talk to us anymore because you're worried about something. So it's good to always ask me questions.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that I did explain in the beginning when I described more of the kind of person that my family doesn't know me to be and everything else. Because they know that I'm the type of person who tends to think outside the box because I'm a critical thinker. So I'm going to end up asking questions. And most of the time, I end up asking questions and learn more about a situation. So this way I know if it's safe to jump into it or not.
Sure. And I want you to say, I want you to feel like I'm on your side. I want you to feel like you can ask me these questions. That's important to me. I don't want to just sort of be somebody that's pushing you to do anything. I would never want that. I want you to be sort of fully informed and like as well, even though we are wanting to make a program about your story, like we want it to be something that you are involved in and that is kind of collaborative.
Yeah, I agree.
Good. I'm glad.
The story's always been about Gypsy Rose. It was really not about him. That is not what they were writing about. It was about Gypsy Rose. Get that through your head.
But yeah, any other questions, you make sure that you do ask me.
Okay.
And I'll try and answer them as much as I can.
All right, I appreciate it.
Okay, good. So do you have any other questions now, or you all right?
I guess the only other one I really have is, so then, are you going to be in Missouri? Is it for like a couple of days, or do you have any clue how long you're actually going to be in the States?
Well, we're going to be in America. Well, I think I'm going to be in Missouri for a couple of days next week, and then again towards the middle or end of September. So we'll be there twice, but it'll just be me on the first trip, and then the second trip it'll be me and the director.
Oh, okay. Because that's what I'm trying to figure out. So this way I know if we work together well enough, I mean, I should be able to get the sheriff's permission to obviously do that filming with you, of course. But the reason I say that is because not too long ago, I mean, if you look on the internet, I'm letting you know about this now because it just happened like yesterday. One of the local TV places that does the TV news on one of the channels locally here, I think that they call it Color 10. They were just filming inside of the house unit, the housing unit here. They were just filming right inside of it.
Right.
Almost 2/3 of the inmates that were in this housing unit ended up going to spots where because they didn't want to be filmed. I was not one of them that moved. I stayed right where I was because I really didn't mind it. Yeah. Yeah. And then
that's quite cool then.
Yeah. So I ended up getting more film coverage again for the TV. Again.
Did they interview you, or did they talk to you?
No, they didn't interview me. They were just doing almost like a panoramic view of the yeah, that's what they were doing. They were trying to, and then they also did a little filming on the what was it? The rules that are supposed to be supposedly placed in here, even though those don't always apply, unfortunately, since I'm aware of all the corruption going on in this jail. But yeah.
That's interesting though.
Yeah.
The change, like, to your daily schedule, seeing them. Did they come? Were they just walking around inside the prison?
Yep, exactly. Inside the housing unit. Yep.
Right. Okay. Do you have any what are they called, like guards or officers? Are any of them? Are you quite good friends with any of them? Do you trust any of them, or like, as in, is there somebody that you can maybe talk to specifically to ask about this form that I mentioned?
I'm not sure who I could ask, actually. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I'm trying to think, because obviously I've sent you one, but I don't know if it's
Because the reason I say that is because the officer that's working up here right now, he is the original person I asked the very first time I asked, and he didn't know. So that's the reason why I know he wouldn't.
Okay. And is there, so there's just one officer, or is there maybe somebody else you could try and ask? I would really appreciate it if you could, just to see if somebody else that, I'm trying to sort it out here, but if there's any way that we can get help from somebody who you can talk to in the prison, because like I said, it's this form that we have to get you to fill out before, and it just says that you don't mind me talking to you. You'll see it when I send it to you, but I feel like it might make you get your own copy.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm waiting for, is that copy that you're sending me. So this way I can show it to one officer, and then maybe see if I can request to get a higher rank in here. Maybe ask them to maybe pass it on to maybe one of the captains, and maybe the captain passes it to the sheriff or something like that. Something to work.
Yeah, even if it's just one of the, I don't know if it has to get directly to the sheriff, but it just has to get to one of the more senior officers. I'm trying to get more information on that, because I know that you haven't got much information, and I haven't got much information, so I'm try and get some more on that. But if you keep asking, that would be an amazing favour. I would really appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, I will, definitely.
Great, thanks very much, Nate.
Yep, I'm just trying to work with what I got, because it's rare when really one captain, Kumar usually comes up here. It's rare when he does. He's actually the captain over all the other captains, and then the one that above him is the sheriff. So that's part of the reason why it's a little tricky for me to try to talk to the really high up ones, because the only other captain that comes in here a little more frequently is Captain Johnson, and he was in here yesterday, but I just felt like it would be a little weird asking for it while you have people filming the area. So I'm thinking, I'd rather keep that more on the lower end, so I didn't bother trying to ask them. So you have people here.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I understand. Well, I've messaged him as well, so hopefully he'll be, because I thought it was best if I messaged him, because he's got access to you directly. Maybe he'd be able to help that way. But if you do see him again, if you could just ask him, and you don't have to say, it's for filming inside the prison. You can just say, I want to get a form that gives a company permission to film an interview with me. And he should know what that is, because I've messaged him about that too. So hopefully that will work.
Yeah, that would be great. And hopefully by then, that example you sent me is here by then, so I can show them exactly what the form looks like.
Yeah, I sent it really, really fast delivery, so maybe we should arrange to try and talk in a couple of days, and I can see if it's got to you or not.
Okay, that'll work. Even though I have to admit that person you sent the first time, he said that was a period of weeks for that to get here, so I don't know how long this will.
Yeah. No, I paid more though this time, so I paid like lots of money to get it really fast shipped to America. I think last time it got sent back to the people it got sent back to the office or something. I think it might have got rejected. I don't know. The first letter I sent you, and then the second letter took ages. But I've paid more money, so hopefully it'll come get you. If not, when I'm in America, I'll post again, so maybe it'll get to you then.
Oh yeah, that'd be, either way though, it should work. I don't know why you would have any trouble getting to me, even though you're in UK right now.
I know, it should be straightforward. So hopefully it will work. So I've done it. It should arrive tomorrow, but because of the prison system that it has to go through, I think it's going to take a little bit longer because they check the letters and everything. So, and I'm sorry, I didn't really write you much of a message in it because I thought, well, I'm going to talk to you anyway, so I could just explain it to you. I sort of thought it was really weird writing you a letter knowing that I was just about to speak to you anyway later today. So sorry about that, but hopefully it'll get to you, I guess, by the weekend. I hope, before the weekend.
Yeah, because we don't usually get letters or any.
You know what's really sad about this is he thinks that this is going to be a documentary about him. He thinks it's going to be where he's going to be able to tell his side of the story and all that, but that's not what really it's about. That's not what they did. Now, there is a discussion about a documentary titled Nick's Documentary that features Nick's account of his story with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. The thread points out that this documentary, Killer Couples, Season 12, Episode 1, is available on platforms like Amazon or YouTube for a fee, and Peacock comments reveal that Nick's discussed Gypsy's different personalities, their sexual encounters, and his continued love for her. I'm sure at this point, no, he does not still love her. I'm sure he's let that go, by now. Then it starts talking about some viewers express conflicting feelings about Nick's conviction versus the sympathy Gypsy receives, noting that the documented abuse she endured. Okay, one person suggests Nick should be in a mental hospital. Another user looked at an alternative ways to watch it in their country, and someone else provided the Peacock show named as Prime Crime episode Fake Sick Girl Murder Plot. So there you go. If you want to watch the documentary that's actually about him, not about her per se, it's from his point of view about what happened here. So anyway, we'll go finish watching this. Here we go. Into the weeds. Here you go.
Email normally on Saturdays and Sundays. It's usually Monday through Friday.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And do you get much mail from people?
No. Actually, I don't.
Wow.
That's okay. I can be your number one pen pal then.
All right.
So what about visitors? Have you had visitors before? Do you know if you can have face-to-face visits in your prison, like where you actually meet in person?
That's what I'm wondering.
You had one before?
That's what I'm wondering, because I've only had one visit from my family, and that one visit from my family, there was a clash between me and my family member, so I really wasn't able to have a face-to-face. It's a clash in a way. Yeah.
But you still get to, I wondered if they made you have like a video chat, whether you actually got to see them. So you did see them in person, but not, just between the glass.
Yeah, not between the glass, no.
Okay, well, hopefully, maybe we should arrange a chat again on Thursday. If you don't mind, you could call me on Thursday, and maybe we can see if the letter's got to you then, and then I'll know a little bit more about what I'm doing, and then if I'm coming to Missouri, then I can always come and meet you for, I can come and meet you.
Okay, that should work.
If you don't mind, obviously.
Yeah, of course I don't mind. I mean, I have nothing but time here.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, is this going to be a phone call or a video chat? Just so I'm aware of what's going on.
I think we could try the video chat. Do you think the video chat's going to work, though? With the volume, we couldn't hear each other.
Well, that's the thing. That's the reason I'm trying to use the original input that they provided for the for the tablets, and that's what I've been trying to do lately. But that apparently I must have caught it too late, or I don't know. Because these people were waking me up to get to there, and I still was able to log in, but whenever it was processing through, that's when kicking it off. I was like, what the hell? So I think it just varies on the tablets. Apparently certain tablets work better with it than the others.
Okay. Well, what would you prefer?
We haven't had the chance to have our very first successful video chat. That's the reason why I would probably prefer that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can try. Should I try and put that in for maybe Friday?
Friday? Okay.
Friday's probably, that probably gives us a little bit more time for the letter, I think, and then I'll know what I'm doing when I'm coming over to America. So should we say Friday? What time your time is best? Like 9? You tell me.
How about 9:30, just to make sure?
9:30 is fine.
Okay.
I can do 10 if you want.
No, 9:30. So this way you'd be able to talk to me a decent amount of time.
Yeah. Okay, all right. 9:30 then, and I'll schedule that, and you can accept that.
Yeah,
and then you have to sit by the best tablet hours before to make sure that it works.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I think this is going to cut out in a minute. We're on 27 minutes, so I think that thing's going to come in a minute. So I'll book it at 9:30 Friday for a video chat, and then we can talk to see if you've got the letter, to see if you've managed to speak to anybody about getting the letter from somebody in the prison. But if not, we'll see if you've got mine, and then we'll talk about me.
Okay. Are you gonna book it on that day or in the future where it would be before that day? I'm not sure how you're gonna do that. So this way I know. What I mean is, if you book it in the future for that day, but before that time, like let's say if you did it Wednesday, but you scheduled it for Friday, for example, I'd still be able to accept it. But then that way you wouldn't have to wonder when I should be on the tablet to actually accept it. This way, there's just an easier barrier there for me to be able to actually get through, since I'm not fully sure when I'm able to accept it right away. And
okay. So you want me to send, if I send the request now for video chat, yeah?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great, because that helps everybody out.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that now, I promise. I'll do it when I get off the phone.
Okay, I appreciate it. And you said it's, 29 minutes now is it going on?
Yeah.
Once it gets it's about to do that probably as soon as it's about to hit 30. Since apparently it's 15 and 30 minute calls will be allowed. All right. Well,
that's
definitely.
short, isn't it?
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed this call, that's for sure, because it gave me a lot of useful information.
Okay, good. Right. Well, if you have any other questions, just make sure you ask me. I want to make sure you feel happy with the process.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'll schedule the visit now for Friday at 9:30 your time, and then you've got lots and lots of time to accept it.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Then we'll talk on Friday.
Sounds good. Take it easy until then, Sophie.
Yeah. You too. Take care, Nick.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.
Now, let me catch up on one little thing and then I'm gonna call it a day because I really can't step any longer. So Nicholas Godejohn has had recent interviews and appeals in 2025, primarily featured in the true crime specials and news segments where he presents his side of the story and discusses his legal challenges. The 2025 interviews and updates, USA Network and Oxygen specials, a 2-hour special titled Gypsy Rose and Nick, A Love to Kill For. Okay, it's A Love to Kill For, which includes an exclusive prison interview with Nicholas Godejohn, was featured on a USA Network and an Oxygen in late 2025. He agreed to these interviews to ensure his perspective was heard, feeling that his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, received more attention and an uneven distribution of the narrative. Of course he does. The legal updates and his habeas corpus. News reports in April 25 covered the filing of a writ of habeas corpus by Godejohn's legal team, arguing he did not have a fair trial and that his autism and mental health issues were not adequately considered. Ongoing dialogue with Gypsy Rose. In June of 2025, Gypsy Rose Blanchard made public statements calling Godejohn a deeply disturbed man. She's a deeply disturbed woman. Okay. It goes, then it says, while Godejohn's past interviews from 2024 were recirculated where he acknowledges his actions, but also pointed out that the complexity of the situation and the manipulation he felt that he experienced. Here's the key things from the interviews. Justification. Godejohn maintains that he committed the murder to protect Gypsy Rose from her abusive mother, stating that he wanted to make sure her mom was not going to harm her anymore. He described the 5 days spent with Gypsy Rose before the murder as the most intense and magical and awe-inspiring days of his life. The poor man, I feel bad for him if that's all he ever had. Jesus. The responsibility and image. He wants the public to understand he is not a cold, emotionless killer, and he hopes people can learn from his mistakes. He accepts responsibility for his actions, but also believes Gypsy Rose is equally guilty. Amen. We agree with that as well. His appeals. He continues to seek a new trial, arguing his mental capacity did not meet the requirements for a first-degree murder conviction, but his appeals have been denied in the past. While the immediate snippets confirm interviews from 2025, most of his widely available in-depth interviews were conducted in 2018, 2019, following his conviction. These older interviews are frequently referenced and re-aired in current news segments and documentaries because he stopped talking to them because Sophie over here lied to him. She did lie to him. Missouri is not bound by any Son of Sam law, Sophie. That was wrong of you. Anyway, you all have a wonderful night. Thank you for stopping by. If you didn't get to catch it live, that's okay. Come on back and watch it when you can. That's all I ask. I'll see you sometime later today, I'm sure. I got to call it a day. Night, everybody. Bye.